Last night, widespread looting and rioting swept through Chicago, the Mag Mile, the Gold Coast. These are near North Side neighborhoods, just north of downtown. A security guard was shot. He's in critical condition. We don't really know why people were rioting. We have a general idea. Somebody got shot in a confrontation with police, but they're not entirely sure that's what's really causing this. But videos are coming out about people downtown Chicago shooting guns into the windows of one store, a Gucci store, trying to break in. People run screaming. There's a video where people claim someone tried to run down some cops, speeds off. People are getting hurt. And there's some videos of people getting arrested. But it's not just Chicago, man. There was mass rioting in Seattle. And of course, there was mass rioting once again for night, I believe, 74, or is it 74 of Portland riots all across the country now. I mean, it's Chicago, it's Seattle, it's Portland. Seattle and Portland, you kind of expect, but Chicago, man, this is crazy. What's crazy about Chicago is that the rioting was for no reason. It was it was opportunists. There's videos of cars ramming into the windows of stores and everyone's cheering. They're filming themselves do this. One woman's live streaming herself as she tries to find the device for cutting the security tags off clothes. And then she yells, "I can't breathe." As if anyone believes you're actually doing this for Black Lives Matter. Of course, there are videos of police arresting people. And there's reports, according to the Chicago Tribune, that people were showing up with shopping bags and at least one U-Haul pulled up during the looting. So it seems like people have at least planned something, but we don't know what the rioting was for other than just to steal stuff. I'm willing to bet we're going to see a puff piece from a bunch of news outlets saying the valiant looters defying gentrification or other stupid nonsense. But I want to make one important point before we start reading the story, because I got to tell you, man, we got a lot. This is huge. We got Seattle, we got Portland. The Washington Post did a puff piece photo shoot on the extremists, the rioters themselves in Portland, literally doing a photo shoot with them and praising them. But we also had yesterday in the CHOP, the former CHOP, worship services. Right-wing groups coming out defying the lockdown in churches, holding their own events. But I want to say one important thing. Donald Trump, Operation Legend. This is not a campaign from the president to deploy armored riot police across the country to stop rioting. That's just not what he was planning. But the media tried to make it seem like it was. They said that Trump was deploying his secret police across the country. Trump was not doing that. If only he did, though, right? Because if Trump really did deploy DHS to stop rioting and to secure the streets, these riots in Chicago would not have happened. And the security guard who's currently in critical condition would be healthy and safe today. Maybe Donald Trump should have actually done something. Now, I don't literally mean that. I'm saying, look, it's up to the cities. The Democratic politicians of these cities have failed completely. Throughout Seattle, they were romping about smashing up banks. They were smashing up the Amazon store. That was just reckless violence. Portland was the same thing, fighting with police. Apparently, some cops have now been injured. Chicago. This seemed like as soon as rumors started flying, apparently someone told people were spreading a false rumor that cops shot a kid. Nah, didn't happen. And that was enough. And then people were like, now's our chance. And they just rampaged through a wealthier area of Chicago, stealing everything. They broke into a Tesla building. They broke into a Tesla dealership. And this one, I know it's all kind of bad, but they looted Portillo's. Okay. Do you know what Portillo's is? A hot dog shop. It's look, it's a little hot dog hat. I actually ordered some recently to get a good sampling of the old Chicago food I haven't had in a long time. They actually broke in and started looting Portillo's. But I'll tell you what, man, some of these videos are nuts. Like that Gucci store one. You actually see the guy draw his gun and start shooting. He fires into the glass. Everyone scatters. He tries to kick it and he fires several shots. He couldn't get in. But man, it is nuts. The video where the car rams the window, it was nuts in Chicago last night. All right. Anyway, the point is, everybody wants to act like Trump's this dictator, and he's not. But I'll tell you one thing. Trump says that this is Biden's America. If you vote for him, this is what you will get. And they say, but Trump, you're the president now. This is your America. It's happening here on your watch. Yes, except when it comes to federal jurisdiction, which Trump has, that's his jurisdiction. No, he's not backing down. He deployed feds to defend the courthouse where he needed to. He's got feds on call with his executive order to defend statues on federal property. The president doesn't go into the states. What he is saying is that you look at all these cities where chaos is taking off, and it's Democratic leadership. You take a look at Ted Wheeler in Portland. I mean, it's all his fault, in my opinion. You look at Seattle, they're all voting to abolish the police. We got one city councilman leading the rioters, the extremists, to other council members' houses. At the federal level, though, Donald Trump ain't backing down. Now, what would happen if you vote for Joe Biden? There would be no protection of federal jurisdictions. You know, people need to stop pretending like the president owns or controls all of these other cities. No, that's up to them. If they start crossing state lines, the feds can come in. Let's take a look at what's going on with the Chicago, what the Tribune has to say, because I got a bunch of videos for you. Chicago police return fire as looters hit Mag Mile, smashing windows and confronting officers. The Tribune reports hundreds of people swept through the magnificent mile and other parts of downtown Chicago early Monday, smashing windows, looting stores, confronting police, and at one point, exchanging gunfire with officers. Bravo, Mayor Lightfoot. You've done a great job ragging on the president when he offered up law enforcement assistance. This is on you. The officers had stopped several people on Lake Street near Michigan when shots were fired from a passing car around 4:30 a.m. Nearly 5 hours into the widespread vandalism, according to the police, to police spokesman Tom Ahern. No officers were shot, but a squad car was hit, he said. It was not known if anyone in the gunman's car was shot. Ahern said other officers were injured through the night. Earlier, an officer was seen slumped against a building by Grand and Wabash Avenues as other cops tended to him. It was unclear what had happened to him. Ahern had no details on the injuries. The looting began shortly after midnight as people darted through broken store windows and doors along Michigan Avenue carrying shopping bags full of merchandise. Cars dropped off more people as the crowd grew. At least one U-Haul van was seen pulling up. So they were planning for this, man. Police made a lot of arrests and recovered at least one gun, officials said. One woman with shopping bags in her hands fell on the sidewalk as an officer was chasing her. Another woman appeared to have been pepper sprayed. A rock was thrown at a squad car. The looting seemed to be centered in Streeterville and North Michigan Avenue, but some looting was reported on State Street in the Loop and on the near north side by 4 a.m. Police appeared to be getting things under control. But some vandalism continued into daylight hours, and the CTA suspended train and bus service into downtown during the morning rush, while the Illinois State Police blocked off ramps from expressways. Bridges across the Chicago River were raised, except for the one on LaSalle Street for emergency vehicles. What basically happens then is when they raise the bridges, there's an area where they create this big bubble. It creates a peninsula, essentially, where you're trapped. If they raise those bridges and you're downtown, you're trapped. However, this rioting was happening north of the bridges in Chicago. So this means they raised the bridges to keep everyone out of the downtown area. I'll tell you what, man, Mag Mile, like these are tourist areas. These are not, they're going into these areas so they can loot these fancy stores. That's what they're doing. They say people were seen running out of a PNC bank, its windows smashed, at Huron and State Streets. Down the block, other stores, including a Sally beauty shop, had been cleaned out by vandals. Other parts of downtown, including around Grand and Wabash Avenues, were littered with trash. Crowds repeatedly tried to bash in the windows of the Omega Watch store at Delaware Place and Michigan Avenue. The watch store, one officer said, they're going to get it eventually. A group of people went in and out through a broken window at the Louis Vuitton store along Walton Place across the street from the Drake Hotel. A squad car drove by and the group ran away. But as the car rode off, at least one person tried to go into the shop. The police returned. "Go home," one cop shouted. "You go home," someone shouted back at the cop. They don't care anymore, dude. Chicago's lost control. Stores on North Michigan were hit by looters less than 3 months ago. So this we all know. You know, we don't need to get into the previous stuff. But check this out. I want to show you this is the important part. Look, this is serious stuff, man. Security guard in critical condition after shooting in the Loop. So this was early this morning reported. The Loop is the downtown area where the train tracks. So Chicago's famous for its L train, the elevated trains that run through downtown. And there's an area where the trains make a loop around the downtown area. That's the Loop. When you're inside it, you're surrounded by all trains. You could walk in any direction and you'll find the train track or eventually a train station. So we got a security guard, man. I really do hope he's okay. I think Chicago's in desperate need of help. And anybody who's denying it, they just want, these are the opportunists. They like what's happening. No, this is not good. There's a lot of people who are going to say, "Oh, we don't need Trump's help. We don't need the Fed's help." And then I wonder what they're doing on nights like this. Laughing, joining in. Now, regular people are probably saying we need help. And we've got it in some of these tweets. But here's what's crazy about this. CBS News reports it wasn't immediately clear what led to the unrest, which began shortly after midnight, but anti-police graffiti was seen in the area. Yes, so what? They always spray paint anti-police stuff. Hours earlier, CBS Chicago reported dozens of people had faced off with police and officers and police after officers shot and wounded a person Sunday in the city's Englewood neighborhood. They go on to mention all this. Apparently, people were spreading rumors that the cops had shot a child or something. They say in the earlier shooting in Englewood, police said they responded about 2:30 p.m. Sunday to a call about a person with a gun and tried to confront someone matching his description. He fled from officers on foot and shot at officers. Officers returned fire, wounding him, and a gun was recovered. He was taken to a hospital for treatment, and 3 other officers involved also were taken to hospital for observation. Nobody died. So what's going on? More than an hour after the shooting, police and witnesses said a crowd faced off with police after someone reportedly told people that police had shot and wounded a child. The crowd eventually dispersed. You know what may have happened? Opportunists. They heard, oh, something happened. They started spreading rumors. Oh, yeah, it was a kid. They get a crowd all rowdy. And then once the cops start mobilizing, they rush in and they take advantage of this. Well, I got a bunch of clips, man. Check this out from Frank Calabrese. I don't know who this guy is, but he was included in the story from CBS. I think he's just a dude who lives in Chicago. Look at this. He says, they are looting Portillo's hot dogs and Walgreens. I called 911, but no police at all. Hundreds of looters. I'm saying, man, if you're still in a city, you haven't bought yourself a gun. I mean, and I'm not saying if you're in a city, go buy one. I'm saying you should leave the cities. You should buy yourself a gun legally, store it safely, get proper training, and prepare to defend yourself because the police will not be able to protect you when this goes on. The most important thing you all need to understand, there are not that many police officers. People don't get it. You got millions of people. You got tens of thousands of cops. I don't know how many cops Chicago has, but I'll tell you in New York, for instance, you've got, I think, in the 30 to 40 thousands of police. And you got in the entire metro, millions, 10 million. In Manhattan Island alone, 2 million. Yeah, because the other 500,000 left. Those are the wealthier people. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You live in this area and they break into your building. You can call 911 all you want, baby. They ain't coming because they're going to be down there dealing with the actual chaos, people rampaging through the streets trying to hold a line somewhere. So when they come to your house, when they come to your apartment building, when they smash up your store, your bank, and you're trapped inside and you're calling 911, they're going to be like, what would you have us do? That literally already happened. There was a woman. I can't remember what city this was, but it was during the mass riots. I think it was Virginia. She called 911. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This was New York. Apparently during the looting, the mass riots in 2 months ago now, there was a group of people broke into an apartment building or something. People were fighting. And so this guy calls 911 and he says, hey, there's people fighting in my building or something. And the response he got from 911 was, the city is, like we're fighting a war or something. What would you have us do? There was also the story of the woman in Virginia. The people were jumping up on her car and she called 911 and they were like, sorry, what do you think we can do about it? So here we go, baby. There was a video that went viral. A pickup truck was trying to drive down the street and a guy from the Black Lives Matter group pulled his gun to low ready. He had his gun out, ready to go. And apparently there were 2 people armed and they told the guy to go around. The guy tried backing up and going around. They all scream and run up to him, turned him around. We're getting to that point, man. We're getting to that point. Look at this. Stores looted, damaged in Chicago's Goose Island neighborhood. It was everywhere. It wasn't just... Listen, man, go pull up a Google Maps and take a look. This is all over Chicago. You have it's centralized into the downtown and, north side areas. Look at this. This guy says, we need the National Guard to help Chicago police prevent our city from being overtaken by these lawless people. How much more can we endure? This behavior affects everyone. Yep. This guy says, I agree. The police that shot that man without their body cameras turned on should be punished. No one is above the law, not even the police. And there it is. That's the excuse. Is that it? Nobody died. Chicago is this happens all the time. What? Now cops shouldn't try and stop anybody who's, seen committing a crime? Got this tweet here from Andy No. A heavy-set female looter tries to escape from police, but trips and falls. Black Lives Matter. I can't play the videos for you. You were on YouTube. But we have this here. This is a story from the Daily Wire. Portland police officers wounded in mortar attack. 16 arrested during violent Antifa riot. You know what? I don't care to read about Portland, to be honest, because Portland's been going on nonstop for 74 days, and that's that's your problem up in Portland. You look. You want to vote for these people? You want to support these people? Well, that's what you get. Why is it that it was only a little old lady who came out? You know what? You guys have seen the video of the little old lady in Portland standing up, getting splashed with paint. I got really mad thinking about that. You know, because I remember I recorded on it, a segment on it, and I said, where are the strapping young men of Portland to protect this woman, to protect these buildings, to stand up to these people? Nowhere to be seen, apparently. Now, I get it. You know, you'll get arrested, so why get involved? The police won't arrest Antifa, they'll cut them loose, but if you try and defend them, but I'll tell you what, where are the police to come and defend that little old lady? What are you doing if you're not defending a little old lady, man? You're going to stand down because the mayor told you had to do it? All right, whatever, man. I get it. Just stay out of Portland, I suppose. We got this, Andy No says, as Portland experiences more than 70 days of violent protests, riots, arson attacks, soaring homicides, and shootings, the Washington Post actually publishes a glowing photo essay on Antifa riot fashion. What is wrong with reporter Marissa J. and the editors there? Well, this woman's not a reporter. Like, you look at her profile, she's a protester, gentrification and all things for the Washington. I guess she covers protest, gentrification, and all things DC for the Washington Post. Wanderluster, whatever, forever New Yorker. She's got a picture of herself wearing a black mask. She looks very Antifa, but I get it. It's probably just a COVID mask. I'll tell you what's wrong with her. I mean, she supports the group. She published this. Look at this. It's a glowing photo essay where they actually did photo shoots with the people joining in the rioting. All right, and they're trying to be like, look, they're regular people who are coming out engaging in this rioting. Look how they stand and pose. These people, look at this. Did they tell them to do this? These people literally think they're playing a game as people are being injured in explosions. The Washington Post, this is insanely irresponsible. Oh, and you notice up here it says you canceled your subscription. I'm not going to reactivate it, Washington Post. I actually canceled it a long time ago. Portland police declare riot Sunday after small crowd marches on police union. Small crowd. Yeah, just 200 people. I believe that's what they say. A small crowd of 200. This is insane, man. It's so crazy. A small crowd of 200 throwing mortars, explosions, and whatever, man. Okay, fine. You know what's really crazy? There's no articles about what happened in Seattle. Last night, check this out. Andy No tweets, Antifa are attacking an Amazon store again in Seattle. They're using sledgehammers and have been rioting for hours and smashing businesses in and around Capitol Hill. We also have this one. After breaking into the Starbucks in Chase Bank, Antifa in Seattle are smashing up the Whole Foods grocery store tonight. They use hammers to break windows one by one. No kidding. At the time of recording this video, I couldn't find a single article talking about anything having to do with riots in Seattle. I guess we're past this point. I guess we're at the point now where the Washington Post is going to be like, bravo, Antifa, you're looking so cool in your fancy clothes. Do they want Donald Trump to win? It's the only thing I can think. So I'll tell you what, right now, Trump has offered up federal authorities to assist in ending all of this. And these mayors, these governors, these locals just keep saying no. Bill de Blasio just announced the other day that he wants, or I believe it was on Friday, that he wants to buy up buildings in New York City after they're empty. So what? They're destroying the cities on purpose so they can snatch up all the properties and create public housing programs? Maybe. If you vote for these Democrats, look at this. Mayor Lori, you got Lori Lightfoot trending right now. 10,900 tweets. That's her fault. If you vote for these people, well, then don't be surprised when you lose everything. Here's what people don't seem to understand about socialism. There is no circumstance in socialism where everybody gets lifted up. You let these people take over, everyone gets pushed down. This is what I try to explain to people. The goal is to create equality, right? They want equality of outcome. What's the easier thing to do? Make everybody rich or make everybody poor? One, you snap your fingers and you take everything away from people and now they're equal. The other, you got to create property, you got to create resource. It's too difficult. When these people, these socialists take over, they cut off the tall grass. They make sure that everyone gets pushed down. And all of these Antifa people will live in horrid squalor, worse than they do now, because they're dumb kids playing revolutionary, being propped up by the Washington Post. The insanity must stop. I'll tell you what, Biden and the Democrats sweep this November. This is it. These people won. The insanity, the unhinged, irresponsible, immature behavior, the looting, the vandalism, they're all clapping for it. You know what they said about the looters in Ferguson, which was now just what I think 6 years ago? You know what they say? They say looting is fighting back. You know, it was a form of protest. It's the language of the unheard, things like that. There was an article written by the far left called In Defense of Looting at the time of the Ferguson riots. And you know what the locals who lived in Ferguson were doing? They were linking arms to protect their stores from the looters who came from outside their neighborhoods. So now you look at this lady, these lunatic, unhinged people who are coming out pretending to do something. Now look at this lady. What does she think she gets? Studded belt. They're LARPing. I would love for these people to truly understand what the world is really like, but they don't, and they never will, because they get pampered and protected by the other morons who vote for these moron politicians, and then everything falls apart. And you know what? You live in these cities, you vote for these people, that's what happens. So that's why I'm moving out to the middle of nowhere. I'm not interested in being a part of any of these unhinged collective jurisdictions anymore. You got all these people who live outside these cities, and they vote blue no matter who, and then everything burns down and they say, why is this happening to me? Maybe you should think about who you voted for and what they're supporting. Listen, it's not about policy. Not about policy. I never liked Republican policy. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about spinelessness. Now it's about policy, to be fair. It used to be like the Democrat would say something like, I'm pro-choice, and the Republican say, well, I'm pro-life. And then you'd be like, all right, which one am I going to vote for? Now it's quite literally the Republicans saying, well, I don't know about all that, but I'm going to allow the police to stop the riots. And the Democrats are going, but the riots are the language of the unheard. And you're sitting there going, my apartment got broken into and they burned down my coffee shop. And the Republican is sitting there saying, well, let's figure out how to stop this. Let's fix your coffee shop. And the Democrats saying, what do you mean? You have a problem? You think black lives don't matter? The rioting is the language of the unheard. There's a video of young women cleaning off graffiti from a building. And a woman pulls up and she says, why are you cleaning it up? And they're like, we're just cleaning the building. And she says, do you think black lives don't matter? And the women, these young girls are like, huh? It's just, we're cleaning graffiti? No, you got to leave the graffiti or else. There was another viral video where two people pull up to their store they just recently purchased. It's like a furniture repair shop. And there's a bunch of Black Lives Matter posters all over their building. And the guy starts pulling them down and they ambush him with a camera. What are you doing? Why are you taking our posters down? Do you think black lives don't matter? And these people are just like, what? Yeah. That's what you will get once the Democrats win, because they are supporting this. I'm not exaggerating. They're literally supporting it. And now a security guard is in critical condition. They're not going to call it out. They bent their knee. Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them got on their knee. We are look at this unhinged individual, like carrying a leaf blower and wearing all these gloves, Antifa fashion. Man, I'd love for this person to work on a farm for one day, like to understand the work that goes into, planting crops, just so they can understand that life isn't easy for everybody and you are the privileged elites. Just go do one day of hard work. Like, at a coffee shop, at a McDonald's, to understand what the working class really does go through. They don't. They don't get it. The funny thing about it is that these are the people who simultaneously say that the gulag, the intention was to teach the bourgeoisie what hard work was all about, make them break rocks for a couple of weeks so they could figure out what life was really like. Sure, maybe you can start with yourself first, because you have no idea what hard work is. I'll leave it there, man. It's there's so much more to go through, but I'll save it. Look at this. Pro-police, pro-defunding groups clashed in City Hall. People were, look at this, man. They were having, they were doing baptisms at the Chaz, where the Chaz used to be. It's getting spicy out there, man. I got another segment coming up for you at 1 p.m. Probably an update on all this. We'll see how it plays out. Thanks for hanging out. Now we'll see you all then.